Hey everybody, Randy Kertz here for Bass Musician. So this month I would like to talk about the never-ending quest for many to do more speed, more notes, etc., etc. When building up one's technique or one's strength or trying to get faster or do more licks or whatever it is, many times one will start playing in a way that they will not pay so much attention to how they're feeling or how their arms are on either side, and a rigidity will set in. It'll get tight and they'll keep going and won't pay much attention to that, especially if it doesn't bother them right away. This can be in the form of not only regular practice, but the sort of practice that we do when maybe we're in front of the TV and we're running scales trying to build up our endurance or our speed or whatever it is that we're trying to do. This can take the form of the left hand playing more notes, the right hand plucking more, picking more, and all of the above. So when one is trying to do this, it's important to pay attention to how the arms are feeling, not only the arms, but the whole body, but especially the arms, because the first thing that's going to tighten up are usually the wrist and forearm muscles. And that's when one starts to have pain. So not only, as we talk about many times when one is beginning to play or adding on more hours or changing their practice procedure or learning new techniques, etc., etc., the whole thing about endurance and strengthening and going faster and etc., etc., can really cause problems if one isn't careful. So please pay attention to your forearms on both sides first when attempting to get speed or strength or endurance. I'm not a big fan of doing the exercise balls for strength or the devices that make you do more and play more, because I think that we tend to overdo it with those. When I say we, I include myself certainly. People tend to overdo it, and again, it can cause strain and stress where they're never needed to be. Most of the players that I know that have tried to increase and have succeeded in increasing strength, endurance, licks, etc., technique, have done so by simply playing. So a few things to be mindful of in that regard is always remember to take your breaks. I advocate playing when possible for up to 50 minutes and then taking a 10-minute break no matter what. Obviously on a gig or a practice or sometimes this isn't always possible, but when practicing at home, or again, if you are so inclined to play in front of the TV and run scales and that kind of thing, and I'm not saying do or don't do this, that's your thing, and there are many advocates for doing that and for not doing that. Not what I'm here to talk about. It's about making sure you take those breaks and making sure you do these stretches before and after practice sessions. The stretches that I've talked about, I've showed in many videos before. They're easily found, or you can contact me and I'll direct you to the right place. Those are the ones where we're on a flat surface stretching in this way, not so much this way. The other thing is, if you end up seeing somebody about these problems because you're having a lot of tightness and you're having pain and you're having problems playing in your forearms, usually when pain comes from the wrist and goes up the forearm, that's usually going to be from playing more, and that's a muscular thing rather than a nerve thing, which usually travels downward either from the neck, the shoulder, the elbow, or even the wrist itself. And when that happens, if you see somebody, if you see a healthcare professional and they want to work on your forearms, make sure they do both sides. That covers your flexor and extensor muscles, which are all being strained and stressed when you're doing that. So again, this is not judgment. It's simply when you're trying to build up your speed, technique, dexterity, etc., etc., with that in mind, be careful and make sure you do your stretches. And if you see somebody, make sure they do a thorough job on relaxing those forearms. This does not include nerve problems like we've talked about before: carpal tunnel, tennis elbow, golfer elbow, pain in the neck and shoulder, etc., etc. Just, again, just trying to cover this basic speed up kind of thing. So, Randy Kertz, always available, DRKERTZ at drkertz.com. My website, www.drkertz.com. That's it. See you next time. My book, The Basis Guide to Injury Management, Prevention, and Better Health, available as an ebook from my website, drkertz.com, as well as Amazon. Physical still available at basebooks.com and Baselines in the UK. Thank you very much. See you later. Bye-bye.